I'm just trying to get right. I'm just trying to get right.
This ain't no ordinary lifestyle that I'm living.
That I'm living.
Take a while to reply, baby, I'm working hard.
I'm working hard. I ain't giving up. Come on, pick it up. Trying to get right. Everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. I'm trying to get right. Everything will be all right. Come on, y'all. Trying to get right. Me and my mic, recovery world. That's my type. Came from the bottom to standing tall, ready to fight. Story of an underdog. Run to the litter. I used to dream small, but now I dream a little bigger. Give me all your feedback, baby. Tell me the truth. Did I defy the odds and get us out of the loop? Colossal with these words, let me speak to your mind. Let me motivate your soul until you're ready to grind. Watch me navigate my city and stay out of the mess. Stepping over bullshit on my way to a check. Knowledge is the new currency, I'm ready to flex. Am I really about recovery? The answer is yes.
This ain't no ordinary lifestyle that I'm living.
That I'm living.
Take a while to reply, baby, I'm working hard.
I'm working hard. I ain't giving up. Come on, pick it up. Everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. I'm trying to get right. Everything will be all right. Man, everything's all right now. Made out the struggle with the right crowd. If you got a dream, live it right now. Better toughen up and bite down. Better ready up for a fight now. Tell all the critics to pipe down. I'm way up like a kite now. If they're in the way, tell them bye now. Made out the struggle and I'm ready for more. Look at my wingspan, I'm ready to soar. Ready to score, ready to roar. Crossover game and I'm out on the court. Focused on my... Gotta make it my best move. Man, I'm on my game. Dude, advancing like some chess. Emotionally regulating, ain't got time to be mad. Controlling where I'm headed, ain't got time to be bad. Thank you for support, it helped me get to this point. And thank you for recovery, it keeps me employed.
This ain't no ordinary lifestyle
That I'm living. Baby, I'm working hard. I sacrifice all my time, no, I ain't giving up. If you had came from the bottom, you gotta pick it up. Trying to get right, everything will be all right. You hear me? Everything will be all right. Trying to get right, everything will be all right. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Everything will be all right. Thank you all. Thank you all. Really quick. So I had COVID about 3-4 weeks ago. Still getting over like some of the breathing stuff. So bear with me as I'm talking. Go ahead.
Yo, where do we
Yo.
download your music?
What's up?
Where do we download your music?
It's on YouTube. SL Manny Boy. SL stands for, I'm from Salt Lake, so you can say Salt Lake Manny Boy. Sober Life Manny Boy, because I'm in recovery. Yeah. And then also my daughter's name is Serenity Lopez. So I like to throw that in there. Go ahead. I grew up in Glendale, so the west side of Salt Lake. So let me introduce myself to all of you. My name is Manny Lopez, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. What that means to me is that I show up when I say I'm going to show up, and my word has value. So for the majority of the past 20 years, I was in and out of prison. I was in a real destructive cycle, and the last time that I was incarcerated, I made a conscious decision that enough was enough. My story starts with a mother who was 12 years old when she got pregnant with me. She had me when she was 13 years old. I never met my father, but I had a stepfather. I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters, all younger than me. They all have the same father. My father was different. And I'm pretty sure because of that, there was a lot of abuse from my stepfather to me. My earliest memory when I think back is my stepfather physically abusing my mother. That right there is enough for me to have spent the majority of my life with core beliefs. Who knows what core beliefs are? Tell me what's a core belief.
Isn't it something that you internalize and just always root everything into that?
Yeah, core belief usually starts with I and am. To me, I and am, two most powerful words in the human language, right? Because what we tell ourselves, I am smart, we believe. I am beautiful, we believe. I am important, we believe. And so we're constantly walking around this world telling ourselves things like that. And so because of the abuse, my core belief, at least one of them was, I am helpless. I am worthless. I am alone. Anybody else in here dealt with that? Yeah. It's tough, right? And I'm sure a lot of people, there's some people that wanted to raise their hand and maybe didn't. Because I think we all deal with that somewhere in our past. So fast forward to I was about 9 years old. Well, hold on, let me back up. So my stepdad at one point when I was about 8 years old, he decided he didn't want to be a family with us anymore. So my mom, 5 kids, he just walked away. Left my mom with 5 children. She was 22 years old to figure it out. So there was a lot of drug use in that house, a lot of abuse in that house. And my mom being so young and that was what she was used to, what do you think she looked for in the next boyfriend? Mm-hmm. Abuse, addiction. And we could sit here and dissect my mom's core beliefs all day, right? We're not going to do that. But what we are going to do is we're going to talk about some tough things. So at 9 years old, I was leaving school, and there were some people there to talk to me. And they said they were going to that I was going to go with them. And they were with an agency called Division of Child and Family Services. Anybody heard of them?
DCFS.
Yeah.
It came to my school.
Uh-huh. So they picked me up from school. They picked up my 2 brothers, my 2 sisters, and we were in like a group home type thing for a little while. And eventually, a foster family took us. We were all together, and I started acting out, like immediately. I was old enough where I kind of understood what was going on. And so I started saying things like, you're not my mom. I don't have to listen to you. I want to be with my mom. I was getting aggressive. I was breaking things. I would leave the house when I shouldn't at night. Things like that. And so the foster family said, you know what? We have to separate this kid from his brothers and sisters. And so they started moving me to different places. And each placement, I would run from or I would act out until they were sick of me, because my thing is like, okay, you say you care about me. Well, I'm gonna test you to see if you really care about me. And so I'm gonna push your boundaries until you say enough is enough. Because my experience is everybody leaves. And so that's what I did, from placement to placement to placement to placement. When I was 12 years old, I was living in a foster home in Lehigh. Does anybody know where Lehigh is? Okay. Everybody know where Salt Lake is? They're not really close to each other, right? They're kind of close, but not too close. So when I was 12 years old, I said, you know what, enough of these foster homes. I'll figure it out on my own. And so I stole a bike. I rode it to Redwood Road, and then I rode all the way to Salt Lake. Took me all day. Yeah. I had remembered my grandmother's phone number, and I called her. So during my foster homes, I was really involved in the LDS church. So I learned some manners, right? And I called and I was like, hi, is this the Lopez residence? And they were like, who the heck is this? And I told them, my name is Manny Lopez. I think this is my grandma's house. And it was my uncle, and he said, what? He said, hold on, your mom's here. He got my mom. My mom got on the phone, couldn't believe it was me. I hadn't seen her in like 4 or 5 years. Drove to where I was at, picked me up, and this is where my life on the run really began. And I would do this would become my pattern. And so I would live with my mom, my family would take me in. I'd bounce from my aunt's house to my cousin's house. I started reintegrating with my family again in an unhealthy way. We can see that, right? Yeah. Okay. Not going to school, committing crimes. I would get picked up. I would go to DT. They would put me in a placement. I would run. I'd get out. They'd put me in a placement. I would run. And eventually they were like, these foster homes, these little group homes, they're not doing anything for you. So let's try extended stays at the juvenile detention center. And that didn't work. So let's try secure lockup. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Did you get sent to the Odyssey house?
I did.
Yeah, I've seen you there. I was in the adolescence house.
Yeah, I felt like you looked really familiar.
Yeah, and you were there at the silver graduation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah. I usually go and try and mentor the boys there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When were you at the sober graduation? How long ago was that?
Probably within the last 6 months.
You might have seen me there.
Okay. And then periodically I go there sometimes, mentor people. But yeah, Odyssey House, we'll get into Odyssey House and how important Odyssey House is in my life. So that became my journey in the streets, right? And so I became addicted to meth and pretty much anything that I could get my hands on at an early age. First time I tried meth, I think I was 12 years old. The next time I did it again was 14 years old, and then I did it consistently until I went to prison. So when I was 16 years old, and like I said, I was on the streets. I didn't have anywhere to go. Sometimes when family was there, they'd take me in, but that never would last. So I would try and figure it out on my own. So what I figured out was that if I started selling drugs, then somebody would allow me to go into their house. They'd bring me in. I could sleep on somebody's couch. Regardless of how destructive the place was or how negative or crappy the place was, it was somewhere to go. And so that's what I would do. When I was 16 years old, I was involved in a drug deal, and it didn't go how it was planned. And I ended up shooting somebody twice to get out of the house. 16 years old. I was on the run for about a month from that. And then the police arrested me. They caught me. I went to the juvenile detention center, started going to court, and the judge looked at my record, looked at my history, in and out of different placements, would never stay anywhere. And so he said, there's nothing that we can do for you, Manuel, so we're going to certify you as an adult. They drove me across the street to the jail, booked me in the jail. I was 16 years old. And then the adult system sent me to prison. So I went to prison when I was 17 years old. During that stay, I would turn 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. 6 years. Now, those are huge developmental years. Who's 16 in here? 17? Yeah. You're still developing. I was involved in gang activity. I was from a gang from my city. It was a street gang, and that became my focus. You know, I never really had my connection with my family, and so what did I do? I gravitated to that, and I latched on with everything that I was. I didn't enjoy prison. I was super codependent in prison. Who knows what codependency is?
Dependent on others.
What's that?
Dependent on others.
Yeah, but in a toxic and dysfunctional way, right? Most of my relationships, they've all been codependent. It's one person saying, I need you, the other person saying, I need you to need me. And that need is so extreme that we'll neglect the rest of the world. We'll neglect our kids, our job, school, everything. So I got out of prison when I was 23 the first time. I was out for about a month, right? And I went back to prison. Went on the run and went back to prison. I didn't feel like I had very many options. I didn't have any support at all. Those years when I was in prison, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, you know, that's usually when you're like finishing up high school and you're starting to get a job and work and learn how to be an adult. Mine was a lot different. Mine was gangbanging in prison, learning how to take care of yourself in prison, watching your back in prison, because it's not safe in there, right? And even the people that you're supposed to be close with, that you signed up for protection with by the commitment that you made to be a part of the gang, you got to watch out for them too.
Because they can turn their back on you.
Right, or they can turn against you.
Yeah. One little mess up.
What's that?
So it's just one little mess up to the whole thing.
Yeah, it's just a destructive spiral until you crash. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit because all the stuff that I already told you about myself, it would just continue and continue. I'm 38 years old now, by the way. Can I get a round of applause for that? Thank you. I made it to 38. There was times I didn't think I was going to make it to 20. And so the last time that I was in prison, or that I got sent to prison, I was in a stolen vehicle. Okay, let me rewind just a little bit. So a few years back, probably 4 or 5 years back when I was in prison, I decided, you know what, this gang stuff is not getting me the results that I thought it was. I don't feel loved. I don't feel connection. I got to watch my back constantly. And so I said enough was enough. I was going to stand on my own. And I told the gang, jump me out. And so on the main yard in the prison, my gang jumped me out. And they beat me pretty bad. They stomped me pretty bad. But I remember when I got out of that gang, even though physically I was in a lot of pain, emotionally and spiritually, I'd never felt better. I had done a lot of toxic, destructive things with these people that I was not proud of. And so I thought immediately, I got rid of this, my life is going to be better. Do you think it got better? No. It actually got worse. Because the gang was a crutch that I would use to lean on when I was struggling with dealing with things myself. And so with that gone, I still had my destructive thinking, I still had my destructive behaviors, and I still had my addiction. So I would continue to repeat this pattern for the next few years again. Bless you. And at that time that I decided to get out of the gang, I had my daughter. I have a 6-year-old daughter. Her name is Serenity Truth Lopez. She's amazing. And I was a terrible father for her the first few years of her life. The first till she was probably 4 or 5 years old. I would leave her with my baby mom's mother, so her grandmother, pretty much raised her first 4 or 5 years of her life while I was in and out of prison, in and out of the streets in my addiction. But the last time that I got sent to prison, I was in a stolen vehicle, and I was driving on the wrong side of the road. I crashed into another vehicle. Somebody pulled over to help me. I jumped out of the stolen vehicle, brushed by them, jumped into their vehicle, and tried to steal it. Luckily for everybody, they had taken the keys out of the ignition. So they kept me there in the car until the police showed up and arrested me. I passed out, woke up in the hospital, passed out again, woke up in my parole officer's vehicle, being driven back to prison. I can tell you that every single time, so I've been in and out of prison 11 times. And I can tell you every single time that I got out, I got out thinking I had a plan to do better, because I didn't want to go back to what I had experienced. The thing is, I didn't apply anything to that. Like, I didn't reach out to resources. I didn't ask my case manager for help. I didn't ask my teachers for help. I didn't ask my parole officer for help. I didn't speak out to anybody and say, hey, I'm struggling. I hate the way I feel inside right now. I hate myself right now. I feel alone. I don't know how to deal with loneliness. And so that's why I would go in and out. So my daughter was 3 years old that time when I went in, and so she's starting to talk. And so I call, and I'm hearing her talk to me. And it dawned on me in that moment how selfish I was. Because it wasn't just about me, right? I set the example for the type of man that my daughter is going to allow into her life. So if I'm in and out of prison, I'm in the streets, the likelihood of her ending up with somebody like that is very high. Just like my mother using drugs and abusive relationships, the likelihood of me being in abusive relationships and on drugs was pretty high too, right? We tend to follow the example that's shown to us. So I've made a conscious decision that enough was enough. I don't want to live like this anymore. I got on my knees. I prayed. I asked God, please help me. Please help take some of this burden from me. And I fought these charges for 17 months. And while I was in there, I did everything that I could that time. I did a residential treatment program that was in there. I took every class that I could. A huge class that helped change my life is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Anybody ever heard that? Stephen Covey? It's amazing. I went before the judge and I said, Judge, if all you want to do is give me time, that's all you're going to get out of me, because I have programmed and programmed and programmed. But if you give me a chance and send me to a residential treatment program, I will do just as good in there as I did here. And he said, Mr. Lopez, against my better judgment, against what the prosecutor's asking, against everything that the law says that I should keep you in prison, I'm going to give you this opportunity. And for me, that's a God thing. He said, I'm going to sentence you to prison, but I'm going to suspend the sentence, and I'm going to give you 36 months probation. I'm going to send you to a drug program. And of course, me, like, I had been writing drug programs, and I got accepted by multiple drug programs. And so now I'm thinking, like, I get to pick which one I go to, right? And I want to pick the one that lets me do this or lets me do that. And here's God coming into my life again and saying, you're going to go to this one, right? The one I picked, there was a COVID outbreak the day before I was getting out, and so I couldn't go there. And so I ended up at Odyssey House of Utah. Anybody heard of Odyssey House? Yeah. Odyssey House helped save my life. So I went to Odyssey House. I ran an honest program, which was super hard because I'm from that city, and so I know everybody that's coming in and out of that place. From the streets to the state, from the streets, the state prison, the federal prison, I know all these people. And part of that program is that you have to hold people accountable. Meaning you have to stand up and read, like, I feel frustrated when you bump me in the hallway. You know what I mean? And other things, like if you're not supposed to have vapes there. Like, I feel set up when you have a vape around me, right? And so people are getting in trouble. Go ahead.
Those were encounters, right?
Those are encounters.
Encounters and strokes.
Encounters and strokes. Strokes are when you're giving somebody credit for something good that they did. And that was super awkward for me, right? I just did pretty much all my life in prison. You know what I mean? We don't call each other on our crap. We don't hold each other accountable. I mean, we get beat up for that. But I made a commitment. I made a commitment to myself. I made a commitment to my daughter, especially to my higher power, and then also to my wife, who's also in recovery. I'd been in a super toxic relationship with my wife from the day that we met. You couldn't separate us. I have what you call an anxious attachment style. That means that if we're not around each other, I'm constantly thinking about her and only her. And if she's not responding to me, then I think something's going on. I start acting crazy. But she went to a program and started working on herself while I was in prison before I got out, because she knew that if she was doing the same things that she was doing when I got out, I would go back to that as well. Right? Very small percent of relationships in addiction actually are successful once you get into recovery. So I did Odyssey House, and when I got out of the residential part, I got a job doing construction cleanup at the airport. I was making decent money, but it's not what I wanted to do with my life. Through this whole process, through this whole experience with going to prison and doing a program, getting out to a program, I had decided, I used to think that I was going to be the rapper that blew up out of Utah. Like I was the one, right? That's not where life took me. But through this process, I decided I want to work in the recovery field. I want to be a therapist. I want to help people. I want to bring what I've been through in my life to other people and help people that I can relate with. And so I became a certified peer support specialist, which means basically somebody that's been through it that you can talk to. Got myself back into school, and after 3 interviews with a program called Papillon Integrated Recovery Center, I got hired as a house manager for the Sober Livings. I worked there for over a year now. Like I said, I got myself in school. I'm no longer a house manager for the Sober Livings. Now I'm one of the therapists that work at the program. I'm a clinical mental health intern in school working under the license of our clinical director. Huge. Huge. Are you hearing this? I'm a clinical mental health intern working under the license of our clinical director while I'm in school working on getting my own. You just heard where I came from.
It's crazy.
How crazy?
Just insane.
Insane.
Like, you grew up the same way that I kind of grew up. Not like,
I grew up a screw up.
yeah.
And so I want to share, I share this story with you to tell you, like I've sat in these chairs before. I've been in these programs before. I didn't take advantage of what was being given to me when I was in places like this. And because I didn't do that, because my codependency, because my external validation, need for validation externally was so strong that I didn't listen to anything. I wanted what I wanted, and I wanted it then. And it led me to addiction, toxic relationships, accepting people that didn't care about me, even family. Just because they're family doesn't mean that they're healthy for you. Accepting that into my life, to prison, to being a deadbeat dad, to being an abuser, to changing that whole narrative. My past does not define me. I am who I am today because I choose to be who I am today. You write the narrative of your life. I don't, the system doesn't, the staff doesn't, the teachers don't. If they could, I bet they'd write it perfect for you, right? They can't. You write that. You decide what the next chapter of your life is. What are you going to do with this opportunity? Because I hope that you're looking at this like it's an opportunity. Again, I hope you're looking at this as like it's an opportunity. And what do we know about opportunity? Opportunity opens us up for opportunity, right? So if I don't take full advantage of this opportunity that I have right now, I'm so limiting myself on all these other opportunities that are going to come my way. If I would only put half of myself into my treatment, into my recovery, I would not have what I have today. Opportunities just wouldn't have opened up for me. Right? So I get it. I get coming from no dad. I get coming from mom was abused, mom was an abuser. I get coming from drug use. I get coming from toxic relationships. Am I the only person in this room that deals with loneliness? No. Depression? Anxiety? Self-doubt? Who knows what vulnerability is? Tell me.
Not like being susceptible to bad things. Like vulnerability could be like how they said with COVID here, the older people are vulnerable to get like more sick. It's just like being open to get hurt.
Yeah. Being willing to talk about difficult things. Things that I don't know how to deal with because when I talk about them, I get sad, I get angry, I get depressed, I get anxious. But it's through vulnerability that we find strength, courage, bravery. Like don't be too stubborn and don't be too scared to be vulnerable. Make a commitment to yourself to be the best version of yourself. Every single one of you in this room has massive potential, extreme value. Whatever it is that you want to do with your life, whatever it is that you want to be, you can be that. I promise you it's not going to come easy, but I promise you that if you work hard at it, and I mean super hard, I mean you put everything into it, you will come to a place where you are happy with who you are. Did you notice I didn't say like, you'll be whatever you dreamed you're going to be? Did you notice that? But you will be happy with who you are, who you become. Right? I didn't think that I was going to be a therapist one day, but I love what I do. I love sitting in a group and bouncing ideas off people. I love talking about radical acceptance. Who knows what radical acceptance is? Tell me about it. Talk to me. I talk back. Yeah. You hear people say, it is what it is, and then they just move on and keep going on with their life? That's radical acceptance. It is what it is. It doesn't matter if I push against it. It doesn't matter if I pull away from it. It doesn't matter if I speak tongues. It's not going to change the way it is or the way somebody is. What I have the ability to do in this situation is to choose, am I going to just be okay with it and move on? Or am I going to choose to be bitter about it and be pissed off about it and the rest of my day is ruined? And then I'm going to go and I'm going to affect everybody else's day because my energy is contagious. And is that going to get me anywhere? Has it got you anywhere? Me neither. I really truly believe that life presents us with these opportunities, these situations, so that we can grow from them, right? Talk about loneliness. Like loneliness and isolation is when a caterpillar gets its wings. Are you hearing me? Yeah. Loneliness and isolation is when a caterpillar gets its wings. So don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Anybody believe in manifestation? What's manifestation? Go ahead.
Manifestation is where if you think about it, if you constantly focus on it, it's going to end up being a reality.
Mm-hmm. You know what else happens in between that in order for that to happen?
I would say depression, anxiety.
I mean, if you allow it. But in order for that manifestation to happen, you have to put in work.
It just depends on what you're manifesting too.
You know what I manifested? I manifested that I was going to get out of prison. I was going to complete my treatment program. I was going to get a job. I was going to get my own place. I was going to marry my wife. I was going to work in a treatment center. And I was going to get custody of my daughter. And I battled for a year to get custody of my daughter, and it was a dogfight. They tried to bring up everything that I've ever done in my life. They tried to tell me, you will never be good enough. It doesn't matter how good you've been doing. You will never be a good father. And I fought and I fought and I fought. They took visits away from me to try and get me to stop fighting for my daughter. I went months without seeing her, which hurt me so much inside because I had really started building a bond, a connection with my daughter. She's a little version of myself. But I didn't give up. You see, I remembered that my dad gave up. I remembered that my mom gave up. I remember that my aunts and my uncles gave up. And through this whole journey, I figured out that's not my fault. That's not my identity. And today I'm able to forgive them for that because I truly know and understand today that the reason they did what they did is because of how they felt about themselves. Not me. I wasn't a bad kid. And so you know what happens when I'm around people that don't care about me, that don't love me, that don't display good qualities and characteristics towards me? I rely on me. I get in touch with my higher power and I rely on me and my higher power. Talk to me. Who knows what recovery is? Tell me, what is it? Go ahead, shout it out.
It's where even if you get hurt or fall down, you'll still get back up.
Recovering from your mistakes.
Okay, anything else? Anybody else in the back?
Recovering from your bad choices in life.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Healing.
Being the person you want to be.
Yeah, all good answers. All good answers. Recovery for me has to do with me recovering from addiction and my drug use, right? But recovery means to find something that was lost. Are you hearing me? We're in recovery, right? Anybody feel lost? Sometimes. I'm finding me. I'm recovering. And I'm committed to it. Look, don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do something. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't be something. Never let anybody tell you that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough. Because you are amazing, phenomenal. You are sitting in the most important seats in this room. The most expensive seats in this room. You know why? Because you're paying for it with your life. Because everything you're working on right now is going to save your life. We got people out here dying. I lost 3 people to addiction just this last year. People I was close to, just not people that I met through so-and-so. People I functioned with. Gone, never see them again. How you guys feeling? Anybody got any questions? Anything they want to talk about? Go ahead.
Do you have any tips on how to overcome the bad side of you on drugs and try to get away from that kind of stuff?
Do you have any
tips on how to get away kind of from the drug use, even though your family's done it and you're just kind of in depression or getting into it, how to overcome it and stay away from it on kids?
Yeah, I do. You got to want it. You got to want it more than anything else. You got to want it more than that codependency, that I want to be around my family so much. If your family is bad for you, you have to want good for you. You got to want you to be healthy. And then you got to start setting boundaries. Who knows what boundaries are? Tell me, what's a boundary?
Boundaries are like invisible walls that people set so that they don't get hurt.
Okay. Tell me what your definition is.
Boundaries are something that you create in your comfort zone to know where you know that you're doing the best and to stay away from the negative things that make you the worst person that you can be.
Okay, go ahead.
There are certain guidelines that are set to protect you physically and emotionally.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
For me, boundaries is staying within the people that are going to help you do better instead of the bad people. Because if you stick with those other people, they're going to break your boundaries into doing stuff that you don't want.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Did you have your hand up? Okay. Boundaries keep you safe. Boundaries is when you choose not to allow people into your life that are destructive, that hurt you. My wife told me one time, walls keep people out, boundaries show people the door. Meaning, if you cross my boundary, if my boundary is you don't bring drug use around me and you bring drug use around me, we're done. We won't have nothing to talk about anymore. I'm not even going to explain myself about you brought drugs around me. It's just I cut that whole relationship. Because if I don't, I know if I don't, I will be back in the streets as a drug addict and then back in prison. And I don't think I have another recovery in me. I might have another relapse in me, but I don't have another recovery in me. This took everything I had and everything I am to be where I am today. So when you guys talk about this DCFS stuff, I get it. You talk about dad issues, I get it. Eli, you said you find it hard to even understand why you're here, if there's a purpose for you, or what's the point of even being here?
Yeah.
What's the thought process behind that? Where's that coming from?
I just have a lot of anger stored up. Have a lot of anger for what things happen to me that I blame on other people and I blame on myself. And I don't understand like this makes no sense. My friends killed, I'm in a gang. All this shit doesn't make sense, you know? Like I have anger built out for nothing. And I can't even control it. Sometimes I feel like it's yelling all the time. All the time it's just yelling. It's just screaming and yelling because I can't handle it anymore. I can't think through it. I can't process anything. I can't even speak because sometimes on how mad I am. And I just want to yell it on other people when I know I can't. Because if I do, there's heavy consequences towards me and there's heavy karma towards me. Which I don't want that because that's not fair. That's not fair to me or anybody else.
It's pretty deep. Everybody hear that? That's pretty deep. The encouragement that I can give to you is I understand everything that you just said. And as situations happen, it seems like more stuff gets piled on and more stuff gets piled on. And there's so much stuff piled on right now that I can't even deal with the original issue that started this whole thing. At home, the way that I was feeling. And now I'm overwhelmed. And I'm angry, and I'm angry, and I'm angry. When I feel like that, I got to pray. And like Portia said, I don't care if your higher power is God, is Mother Nature, is the universe, is that door over there, is a toaster. I don't care what it is. Like, you have to tap into something. Spirituality has to be like a number one priority for you. Because if not, it's just going to keep piling up and keep piling up and keep piling up. Right? And you just got to start working on the things that you have the ability to work on right now.
Yeah. Sometimes I always tell myself, I don't care. This is stupid. I don't even know what I'm trying. This is retarded. I'm never going to get out of here. I'm never going to accomplish anything. So why try if it's never going to happen?
Are you hearing these core beliefs? Are you hearing those core beliefs?
Yeah.
This is the core beliefs we were just talking about, right? The most powerful words in the human language is what? I and am. Eli, you got to challenge it. You got to challenge those thoughts, those beliefs. Yeah, like that I'm retarded thing. Like, you're telling yourself that subconsciously. Like, you're telling yourself that. Like, you're telling yourself, I'm a mistake. I'm always going to be a mistake. Right? But that's not true. And so you got to, like, my go-tos are I am smart, I am beautiful, I am important. Can you say that with me? I am smart, I am beautiful, I am important. Every day. My daughter says it every day as well. We're going to try that again. I need you to say it with your chest. Okay? I am smart, I am beautiful, I am important. Because what we tell ourselves, we believe. Anybody got anything they want to ask me, they want to talk about? Go ahead.
So you brought up a lot about codependency.
Yes.
How do you get over that? Like,
How do you get over codependency?
yeah, like how do you get over relying off of other people's thoughts on you?
You focus on loving you. You know what I learned about love? If I look for love in somebody or something, I will never find it. The only way that I've found love is by giving it out. I never found it in drugs. I never found it in any relationship that I was trying to force myself into or force somebody to love me. I found it by giving it out freely. Like, come on, guys. You guys got to love each other. You guys got to love yourselves. Right? Like, make a commitment. Like, look, if so-and-so isn't capable of loving me, then I'm going to love me twice as hard. I'm going to love me twice as much. Quit giving up on yourself. This is a dog fight. You want to shine like a diamond?
Yeah.
You do? Do you know the process that a diamond has to go through to be a diamond? What's that? It's pretty rough. First thing that has to happen is what? I heard it over here. Pressure. Extreme pressure. Not just any pressure, right? I can't just step on some dirt and it turns to a diamond. Extreme pressure. Right? Again, I go to my higher power because that's first and foremost who helps me every day. Right? And so when I communicated like I want to be a diamond. I don't want to be a lump of coal. I have massive value. I know I do. Help me become a diamond. You know what my higher power did? He put me through what? Pressure. Extreme pressure. After the pressure, was he done with me? No, that's not the end of the process to become a diamond. What comes next? Heat. Extreme heat. So here comes the heat. Right? And like, dang, it's getting hot. Dang, this heat is extreme. I don't know if I can take it. Scratch that. I'm challenging that thought. I'm challenging that core belief. I can do that. I am ready for this. Right? And after the heat, is the process over? Nope, there's one more process. And what is it? You said it? Shape it. You know what they do to shape it? They cut it. Now I got to cut you. And then it goes into a set. Then it goes in your ears or your necklace or your bracelet or whatever it is that, you know what I mean? Are you willing to go through that process? Who wants to be a diamond? I hope I see, like, you better raise your hands, people. Come on. You want to be a diamond? You want to have that dream life? You want to have that, you want to create that family for yourself? You want to have that nice house, the car, the job? You want to go to school? You want to be a diamond? Yes, I do. Are you willing to go through the process that it takes to become that? Yep. Come on, people. Are you willing to go through the process that it takes to become that? Yes, sir. We're going to have to do that again. Are you willing to go through the process that it takes to become a diamond? Yes. Okay, it's a little bit better over here. I'm going to need some more energy over here. Are you ready to go through the process that it takes to become a diamond? Yes. Yes. That doesn't mean that like, oh yeah, I'm willing to go through whatever it takes as long as so-and-so loves me. I didn't say that. I didn't say I'm willing to go through whatever it takes as long as it's not too hard. I didn't say that. I said I'll do whatever it takes, period. Commitment. I'm committed. When I say I'm committed, that means I'm all in. You guys got to be all in. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I love every single one of you in here. I see a reflection of myself in every single one of you in here. Again, I've been in these places. I've been through this similar stuff. If I can do it, you can do it. You believe that? You believe you can do it? Yes. Yes. You guys want to hear another song?
Yes.
Yes.
Bring it on.
Oh, can you freestyle for round your beat though?
I will not. But what I will do is I'm going to leave you with a song that's very special to me. It's called Can't Go Back. Okay? And I'm going to need all of you to help me out with this song. Okay? During the course of this song, it says a lot. I can't go back. I can't go back. I can't go back. You'll hear it. Sing it with me. Right? Because we're focused on moving forward, right? We've been through so much that it would take longer and a harder path for us to go backwards to try and get to where we started than it would be if we just finished this out. So we can't go back. We're only going forward. You ready? I need you more enthusiastic than that. SL Manny boy. I can't go back, I can't go back, I won't go back. I got nothing to go back to be honest with you, that's facts.
Finally making it over that ridge.
Over that peak, and the view is beautiful, stunning. I woke up with something weighing on my mind. Told the ones I loved everything's good when it ain't fine. You ready? I can't go back. I can't go back. I can't go back. No, I can't go back. I owe it to myself, gotta get it together. I can't go back. Come on, y'all. I can't go back. No, I can't go back. No, I can't go back. What would it look like if I went back to what I was, back to being lost, walking around with a grudge? Damn, life really tests you to see how bad you want it. You better wake up and get on it. Look into the mirror, see beauty looking back. Beauty in those beautiful eyes, look at that. I hopped off the porch, I got tired of getting past. I jumped in the game and caught a touchdown pass. I can't go back, I got nothing to go back to. It's crazy when the world forgets you, when they pass you, or kicks you when you're down, laughs at you when you fail. Use it as motivation to get you up out of hell. Never had a pot to piss a silver spoon in my mouth. But that's okay, cause I'ma build it for myself. I won't go back, only direction that was up, I work hard. I'm not leaving it to luck. I can't go back, come on y'all. I can't go back. No, I can't go back. I owe it to myself, gotta get it together. I can't go back, I can't go back. Come on, y'all, I can't go back. Yeah, I can't go back. No, I can't go back. It's only when you're lost that you want to be found, and only when you got something that they want you around. It's only when we're broken that we want to be whole. Man, I'm finally getting warm for all the times it was cold. Waiting on someone to find me really got old, so I went and found myself, really lighting the load. Expectations is only a setup to be let down. No time to focus on what I missed out. 1 foot forward, it begins with a single step. Every bodybuilder began with a single rep. I can't go back, no, I can't go back. The makings of a miracle, just know that. I won't go back to being blind to the fact, or being overwhelmed from the panic attacks, or being unprepared when anxiety hits. No more drugs to mask this. I can't go back. I can't go back. No, I can't go back. I owe it to myself, gotta get it together. I can't go back. I can't go back. No, I can't go back. No, I can't go back. On the count of 3, I want everybody to say, I can't go back. 1, 2, 3. I love you all so much. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for letting me be a part of your day. You're all in my prayers. Thank you.